Hello SimHelp viewers! Today we have a very special guest. This is Vincent Rich from Ostrich Software Limited. First of all, dear Vincent, we know that you've been working in the simulation industry for 45 years. Could you tell us, where did you start?
Well, I started at Miles Electronics back in the 1960s, which became Link Miles, that became Singer-Link Miles, etc. I've worked for Rediffusion, I've worked for Gould for many years, and then in 1996 I founded Ostrich Software, and since then a group of us have been working on updates for full flight simulators.
What is the demand of avionic updates at the moment?
Well, not surprisingly, the main demand is for those updates that are mandated by the regulatory authorities, and they are the 8.33 kilohertz VHF communications update, the Enhanced Ground Proximity Warning System, or EGPWS, and TCAS, either TCAS 7.0 or TCAS 7.1. So they're the three areas that we're focused on. All three areas are mandated, and all three areas have been good business over the last 15 years. For example, with TCAS we have shipped 40 systems worldwide, and it has been very good.
Could you tell us what are the most wanted products disregarding the legal requirements?
One area has been weather radar. I think some people want to go from level C simulation to level D, and they need a weather radar, or their weather radar has simply broken, or they want a feature called predictive wind shear, PWS, which is an integrated part of weather radar. And so we've been successful in delivering weather radars with predictive wind shear to our customers. And we have a feature that others do not have. We offer ground mapping mode, where if you tilt the radar beam down, you can see the profile of the terrain ahead of the aircraft, and that works very well.
Do you see any changes in the market due to post-crisis situation? Are the training centers paying more attention to price, quality ratio, how often the device will be used, or so on?
Well, I think the market has been difficult for many people because airlines and training centers want to minimize the amount of money that they have to spend. Some airlines and training centers will purchase updates from the major flight simulator manufacturers, but that is expensive, and the trend that we have seen is that people prefer to come to smaller independent companies that can offer excellent value for money and the same fidelity of simulation as the major players. So we can offer the same goods but for less money, and we have a much sharper focus on customer satisfaction than perhaps the larger players would have.
Moving the avionics from the real aircrafts to the simulators looks an entirely difficult process. Could you tell us a little bit, how do you and your team does this?
Well, this business of updating flight simulators is not for the inexperienced. You need to be very familiar with the aircraft, very familiar with the simulator and its technology, and you need to have very good understanding of the particular update that needs to take place. Sometimes we use the real aircraft computers and we stimulate them from the flight simulator's computers. So that is to drive signals into it to make it think that it is actually flying in the real aircraft. Some black boxes do this quite easily, with some it is quite difficult. And typically it is the EGPWS, the Enhanced Ground Proximity Warning System, where we use the real aircraft computer, or with a flight management computer. In other cases we do a complete software simulation of the aircraft computer, and that is what we do for TCAS. And normally we have a PC that is connected to the new avionics, and that PC is connected to the flight simulator's host computer. And what we do is very much an add-on. We do not really modify the existing simulator, we just connect an Ethernet to it, and the host computer sends the data that we need, the height and the speed, heading and other aircraft parameters, to our PC, and then we drive the new avionics. Probably the key update is anything that affects reliability of the simulator, because if the simulator has a very low mean time between failure, then that is very frustrating for the customers. So if the instructor station keeps failing, it is time to replace it. If the host computer keeps failing, it is time to replace that. But in both cases, to seek a fairly low-cost solution to it, because it is not worth spending $200,000 on perhaps a 25-year-old simulator that may now only have a limited life. But if you can have a new instructor station for 1/3 of that price, then that is attractive if that solves an unreliability problem. So I don't think there is any one update. I think it is really a question of what parts of the simulator are causing unreliability and what can be done to resolve that problem to improve the reliability. Because if customers are unhappy, they will go somewhere else, and then the utilization of the simulator will drop. So it's better to have happy customers and reliable simulators.
Yes. And finally, could you comment a little bit on your partnership with SimHelp?
Well, I think SimHelp is a brilliant concept, a one-stop shop for everything that a simulator operator needs. And I'm surprised that nobody has done this in the past. So when somebody has a motion pump that fails, or an instrument that fails, or a knob that is missing, they can call the team here who have the energy and enthusiasm to go out and find that part. And when an operator wants some bigger updates done, then SimHelp can deliver a complete package using experts from the world over to implement it. And I think the people here in Vilnius, they're enthusiastic, they're young and full of energy. I think they're a perfect team. I love to work with them. I think they will be a great success.
Okay, so thank you very much.
And it's true, that as well. You know, this is a brilliant concept. You just need to make it work, you know, and it's good.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. It was a great pleasure to talk to you.
Good. That's okay. My pleasure. And it was lovely to meet you.